Hey,
Hello, hello.
what
How
is
is
up?
everybody doing tonight?
I'm doing
Good.
fantastic.
We are in 3 separate locations right now. I am at my home. Ezra's in the aluminum Falcon. And Tony, you were at home, I imagine.
Yes. I'm all the way from Lodi, California.
This is the first time I've ever seen you without makeup on.
Right? It's kind of weird, isn't it?
I wouldn't recognize you on the street.
Well, that's because I'm doing it right. Again, I'm a bit of a translucent person, though. So anytime I scratch myself, you're going to see it turn bright red. That's just because I have weird skin conditions. But yeah, no, I decided to rock the dad bod and the cosplay aspect of the older Peter Parker from Into the Spider-Verse.
Hey,
I'm just, pissed off that he's the one Spider-Man that didn't make an appearance in No Way Home. Whatever. It's okay. He's coming back.
My favorite Spider-Man is coming up. I am very, very excited because I never thought I would see my favorite one. What's up, Say Wong? Thank you for tuning in tonight. Spider-Man 2099 is my favorite of all. And then Spider-Ham, which that absolutely blew me away that they had Spider-Ham in the first Into the Spider-Verse because nobody knows Spider-Ham.
I had no idea who he was either.
I knew about Spider-Ham.
Did you know about Spider-Ham? I collected Spider-Ham back in the day.
Oh, you just made yourself sound old, bro.
Sound old. I am
2099. Old. That's the one that he has like some weird like cape and like it's a really drastically different costume, right?
No, it's the one with the spikes on his arms. He kind of looks like an off-brand Batman, but blue and red.
Yeah, he's got kind of red around his eyes and his spiders.
Okay, I think different looking.
Agreed.
It's been a minute since I've seen it, so I don't know how to describe it. I thought he had like a web cape or something. But
it's a little bit of a cape. But yes, Noir Spider-Man. Noir Spider-Man is
Noir is the best. I am Noir. I cosplay him.
Oh, okay.
Have you seen Ivan's Noir Spider-Man?
I was jealous.
Oh my god. Anthony, I don't know.
My symbiote behind me, so I'm excited to see more of this coming into the future installments. It better be good. Because, god damn it, Spider-Man 3. I'm sorry that. You got the one kid that should not have played him to play him. Why?
Uh-oh.
I see. I blocked his name. I've omitted. It's just Eric from the '70s show. Topher Grace.
Oh yeah.
Topher Grace was such a he even knew that he was a terrible cast. It's like, but whatever. It's my chance to play Venom, and it's like, God, why? Why would you screw that up so bad?
All right. Well, there's a chance for redemption now, right?
I hope to God.
I think even
who knows?
There's been rumors. I mean, like right away, right as soon as the movie dropped, there was rumors from Sony that they may do a Spider-Man 3 with the Andrew Garfield just because
I heard that. You know what? I kind of hope that is true, especially if it plays into the one that just came out. Like he comes back and it's like, whoa, I got to find my MJ or something like something.
Yeah. That might be cool, finding his MJ.
He is a really good Spider-Man. I think he just got screwed over on his movies not having the most compelling storylines.
It wasn't really his. He was the most energetic Spider-Man and the most happy to play Spider-Man.
Yeah, he always looked to me like Peter Parker. Like that. Yes. That's why I was so happy when he got cast. And I love that they brought in Gwen Stacy.
Yeah, when I imagine Peter Parker, I think of Andrew Garfield.
Yeah.
I don't think of Toby. I don't think of Tom Holland. I think of Andrew Garfield.
But I like Tom Holland.
I do like Tom Holland. Yeah, Tom Holland's a good Spider-Man. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Especially for how young he is.
Yes. It's the fact that they keep on perpetually leaving Peter Parker in high school. And it's like, you do know he goes to college and then lives in Soho and then gets married. Mary Jane.
In the comic book
run, an adult for a long time.
He's been a teenager only for the first few years, I think, of the run, and then he becomes an adult. And so, but maybe they're just leaving themselves open to have stuff to write about later.
And so when I saw the trailer for Morbius, I'm not gonna lie, between that, Venom, Let There Be Carnage, especially the fact that they involve Shriek in that movie, I'm like, please tell me that they're building up for the maximum carnage storyline. Because
Oh,
that comic book, like I don't even know why it's not like a full-on just graphic novel that you can buy. Maybe it is. It hasn't been since I remember. But it's like a 14-issue span between all 4 of the Spider-Mans running at the time. It was like the Amazing, Spectacular Peter Parker and whatever the other one was.
right.
It has this epic storyline where like Cletus Cassidy comes back and Carnage is in his blood and he wreaks havoc on New York with Shriek, with Demo Goblin. There's Doppelganger, which, I mean, all these things can be brought in from this new storyline of No Way Home, especially with all the multiverse things. And then Morbius is a character that plays a significant factor in that one. Black Cat is another one. That Black Cat, we gotta have Black Cat.
Right.
He's right here. And then Captain America's in it. There's Deathlock. There's Iron Fist. There's a bunch of it brings in this whole like new concept of now that the Avengers is kind of done with Endgame, you could really build on the Spidey universe. And that's a fun, good storyline. Like that's an epic saga that can be a good 3-hour movie.
I want to say I heard some rumor like when they were talking about, everything that was going on between Sony and Marvel before they got Spider-Man the first time. And, they're really debating it. They were saying that Sony owned the right to the Spider-Man and all the characters. And in the Spider-Man universe alone, there was like 700 and some odd characters that could be explored just in the Spider-Man universe.
Yeah. No, he has always been to me more of the Batman of the Marvel universe than really Tony Stark and Iron Man, only for the fact that he's got a better rogues gallery than a lot of those other superheroes. Like outside of Red Skull, I can't think of any Captain America villains off the top of my hand. Same thing with any
Winter Soldier.
Well, yeah, there's Winter Soldier. But like even Iron Man, like.
And then Tony Stark would have been the next one, right?
Like, no, I don't recall too many good like standout Iron Man villains that I can think of. Where Spider-Man has a whole thing just like Batman, good villains like Doc Ock and even like the Vulture. I was happy to see him. Green Goblin's obviously his Joker. I mean, there's a lot of parallels between them. Like Catwoman and Black Cat. They're both very smart. The key difference is that Spider-Man was always super light and comical, and Batman was like this brooding dark entity. It's the vigilant justice.
Where is she?
Where is she?
Hey, Ezra. Ezra, Tattoo Trooper says, how do you guys feel about how they portrayed Carnage? I think that's with the Woody Harrelson.
Yeah, I was disappointed it was Woody Harrelson. I'm sorry, he was too old to play that part. It should have been oh God, he's the guy from 3:10 to Yuma. He's in 30 Days of Night. It's Ben something. He's this very tall, Langley actor. He's an actor. Ben. It's escaping me.
I'm bad.
But he's really good. He's really good. And he would have been perfect.
What movie was he in?
He was in 3:10 to Yuma and 30 Days of Night, both of which he was kind of like a side antagonist character.
Ben Foster?
Ben Foster.
Oh, are you watching the show? Somebody from another room just yelled, Foster.
Thank you. No, Kraven's a great one, too. I saw something else about that Kraven would be a great villain for Spider-Man. Like an Apex Predator kind of stuff. Like the Spider-Man cartoon was very much like the Batman animated series in the sense that it was a good superhero cartoon to watch and it had a lot of good characters.
Right. Ezra, what were you going to say?
For me, I liked the portrayal of Carnage. I think they they portrayed him properly compared to a lot of other villains. Like if you slow it down, you see Carnage actually rip apart its host instead of forming around it, kind of like what Venom does with Eddie. Carnage was just a destroyer. All it wanted to do was destroy, feed, kill.
Well, and if anything, that is one of those nods to the one from Maximum Carnage, where it kind of was in his bloodstream and did come forth from that. It wasn't
exactly.
Yeah. So that's why I was happy to finally see him in it. He's one of my favorite Spider-Man universe villains of all time. Just because
I'm waiting till they make Anti-Venom.
Crazy shithead.
Yeah,
there's video games.
I want to see if in Venom 3, if they make Anti-Venom, because there was Carnage, there's still pieces of Carnage left. There's Venom.
There's a whole symbiote saga thing where like pieces of Carnage split off and found new hosts. There's even a video game for that one.
Right.
It wasn't as fun as Maximum Carnage.
Even what's her name? Mary Jane Watson. She was Carnage at one point.
Oh wow.
Kind of like Spider-Gwen.
Yeah, she was basically Spider-Gwen, but Carnage.
I
Gwen
do remember seeing
Stacy,
something like that.
Mary Jane Watson. If I remember, the Fantastic Four is actually in the same universe as Spider-Man, by the way.
Yeah.
They
use their ray gun to take him down.
Yeah.
So let me, Steven, thank you for tuning in. Facebook is always acting weird for us. For those that have not subscribed or have not checked out, please make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube.
Yes.
At YouTube /Kyber Cave. You can also, I don't know, is this one on Twitch, Ezra, or is this one just
This one
Facebook?
is on Twitch. This one decided to be good with Twitch.
Woo! So weird.
Twitch.com or twitch.tv /Kyber Cave Productions.
Kyber Cave Productions. So basically just look up Kyber Cave. You will find us on different places. But please subscribe. Please help us grow. Tonight we are, we're talking about No Way Home. I kind of want to ask you something. This is not directly related to No Way Home, but when we were talking about Carnage, it made me kind of think about Carnage was a little more, it wasn't necessarily for the littler kids, right? It's not necessarily your typical Spider-Man movie. How do you feel about, I don't know if you guys saw the trailer for Moon Knight. That looks insane. I am so excited about Moon Knight.
I was going to watch it earlier today, and I completely lost track of time.
I haven't seen it yet, but I have heard the reaction about the excitement about it.
Yeah, the excitement.
It's good. I actually don't know anything about Moon Knight.
Well, that's kind of interesting thing. To be honest with you, there's a lot of characters that I don't know anything about until Marvel presents them, and I'm like, oh, I need to go research who this person is. And then,
my favorite for that is Cloak and Dagger.
Cloak and Dagger. Yeah.
My actual favorite is Tony Stark was not a household name until 2008.
Right. In fact, you know how Marvel, so Marvel, the reason why Sony owns Spider-Man, and then I think it's Warner Brother that owns X-Men, right? Mm-hmm. But the reason why these pieces of Marvel are sold off is because it was the late 90s. Marvel had a bankruptcy, and they had to sell off their stories. So part of the agreement was that these movies companies have to do something with the characters every 5 years. Which is why you saw crappy versions of Fantastic Four come,
we've had two crappy versions of Fantastic Four. Let's be honest.
All right, right, because they just had to put something out or lose the title, basically.
Right. A very non-famously known thing is that Chris Evans has played two superheroes in the Marvel universe. He played
the Torch.
He played Human Torch and then Captain America.
Right.
Which a lot of people don't know, which is honestly really weird.
So, no, I caught that as soon as it happened. I was like, wait.
Wasn't he the Human Torch? What happened here?
Like, now he's he's Captain America. Okay. I mean, it was Captain America. He wasn't a bad Johnny Blaze or whatever the fuck name is.
I feel like the writing for it made him look like he was bad, but he played the character pretty well.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. No, that was just it was still in the early X-Men days of superhero movies. Yeah. We hadn't gotten to the Iron Man status yet. We hadn't gotten to the MCU.
Well, that's where I was coming around to, was that when Marvel declared bankruptcy, when they decided to kick off this MCU, they basically took the 5 main Avengers and they had action figures and threw them on a table and asked the kids which was their favorite action figure to play with, and Iron Man won out. Because the kids thought he had the most, the coolest costume and the most playability, and therefore that's how they decided to start with Iron Man. But it wasn't because Iron Man was like necessarily in every household.
No, game. But you know what? I'm going to tell you right now that games like Marvel Superheroes and X-Men versus Street Fighter and Marvel versus Capcom, absolutely Iron Man came about as a more popular character. Direct result of Marvel vs. Capcom. especially Marvel versus Capcom 2. He was such a good powerhouse character to use.
Right.
And that's why, like, there's so much fun with this. Like, he had the beam projection, he had this giant ray cannon. He was a really good strategic character. So I can see that there's definitely something rooted towards that for sure. If you haven't played those games, they're some of the best ever made.
Let's get Don's opinions on these, even though we can't see him.
Oh, we can hear him. The almighty Dawn. The God voice of Dawn himself.
We've been waiting for him just to come up, but he hasn't come up.
I'm working on it. I really am. I'm like reinstalling my drivers and things like that to try to get this up and going, and it's not happening right this second. But I'm here. I can talk to you.
This could be totally a thing, like for mystery guests and stuff like that. It's a complete mystery. You don't even know who they are.
Can you just put like a stock photo, just a random stock photo of somebody up there instead?
Picture of Dawn skipping through a field of meadows.
Actually, I can if you turn off your camera.
Oh yeah, here we go.
How are you doing tonight, Don?
I'm doing pretty well, actually. Yeah.
Hang on.
How are you guys?
Let me find a photo of you real quick.
Good.
Oh Jesus! Wait, make sure it's a good photo though.
Your profile picture.
Preferably one where I had hair.
Oh wow. So we're going back to baby pictures, is what you're saying?
Pretty much, yeah.
Or do you want me to just put a picture of Darkseid up there?
Oh, that works too. That's fine.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna be up in a minute anyway. But yeah,
that's how Darkseid the sabers are. They're so dark you can't even see them.
You can't even see them. So dark you can't even see it.
Somebody just commented about an X-Men movie that has either Omega Red or Sinister in it.
Yeah. What are your thoughts?
Oh, actually, never mind. I cannot.
I would love to see both of those characters. I thought that Iron Man technically had Omega Red as in Iron Man 2, but is that the case? I forget. It's been a long time since I've seen that movie.
Yeah, I thought Omega Red was used, but not necessarily I don't know. I can't remember all of the X-Men movies.
No, I'm talking about Iron Man 2. Was it what was his
embarrassing picks?
In Iron Man 2 was the guy with the Whiplash.
Yeah, Whiplash. Okay, see, I thought that was Omega Red when I saw the trailer.
No.
That's something very similar to that. Mr. Sinister though was always a good antagonist. Like I always liked him in the animated series. He's not as iconic as Magneto, but he's still relevant enough, I guess.
Right. And we have the comic book aficionado online, Mr. James Navarro of Distance Nerding, and Phoenix from Distance Nerding is on as well. Hello to both of you. Thank you for tuning in tonight. We're doing some distance nerding ourselves, but we're not stealing your name. So let me ask you, as we've seen, okay, so it started off with, I remember, the first big buzz. Of course, there was Blade and there was other movies, but Batman, the Tim Burton Batmans were really the kickoff of the superhero movies. Do you think we're getting a little superheroed out now, or
no, definitely not
into it?
No, I will never stop being a superhero person.
I think people are just so into it right now.
Yeah, I want them to be good though. I feel like Black Widow came too late.
Black Widow did come too late because they filmed it so many years ago,
and she deserved better than that. That was such a good character. Why would you deprive us of the movie ahead of time?
Right.
I will say that to the credit of the Tim Burton movies, there's so much more practical effects because, again, movies weren't what they are today. We didn't have CG to rely on. But because of how organic it was, it gave it this gravitas that we don't have so much. Now, superhero movies are so, dime a dozen. When they're good, they're really good. But when it's okay, that's just another one. We'll watch it once. I ain't ever going to see that movie again because I don't feel like I want to.
Right.
I'll see it for the continuity, but even then, it sprinkles it in. It's just there. It's just another one.
But that to me, that's okay though, because I feel like, what they've got, 24, 25 movies, not including their Disney streaming. Like, it's okay for not every single one to be, in a home run. You know what I mean? Some of them are just going to have to kind of fill in storyline, and some are, not everybody can get a platinum, and I'm okay with that.
No,
Honestly.
I know. But at some point there will be a jet lag on that where it's like, okay, it's another one. Will I see this one? Do I care? Probably not. Like, excuse me. Even with like Batman in general, I always go, can we get over the fact that we need to see a scene where his parents die? Like, we all know his parents die.
Right.
We already know that. We're past that part.
Right.
Can we just focus on the new big bad in the story and just get on with it? Same thing with like
Phoenix, the plot being Loki.
Loki.
Phoenix says I watch for the plot.
I was gonna say
the plot. It is definitely a filler.
I feel like DC is
DC sucks. The movie sucks.
Movie wise, yeah, Batman's their only good one. And again, he's got a good rogues gallery.
I feel like
DC
it's a lot
TV is good.
A lot of retreading what they already know works. They're big characters: Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman. Whereas Marvel is much more like, let's try something new. We're going to bring out Shang-Chi, who nobody has ever heard of.
Oh no, Marvel has way better superheroes, for sure. DC has better villains, but they're almost all exclusively in Batman. Like, I've never enjoyed Superman only because he's too OP. Like, nothing about that character ever really gleaned to me, only for the fact that, like, he's got every fucking superpower. Batman's great because he doesn't have a superpower. He's just smart. But the Marvel universe, everybody's so unique and in depth and has so much fun.
Can I say one thing?
Doesn't entirely suck, but it doesn't hold up necessarily with its caliber of heroes.
I say DC movies suck, not the comics, not the TV shows. I actually personally enjoy the DC TV, like the Flash, Supergirl, Batwoman.
Yeah, Flash did well.
Flash did so well. So did Arrow. Arrow had, I think it went up to 8 seasons.
Wow.
It went really well. And Arrowverse is amazing. So, personally, yes, I do like DC, but also DC movies suck because all they did was just try and reiterate the same superheroes that they knew that work. Whereas
they kind of rushed to copy what Marvel was doing,
right?
And rushed to Justice League rather than give us the slow burn buildup that we got with the MCU. So they should have focused on really putting out each of those main superheroes on their own. Like Ben Affleck should have had his own Batman movie, not just Batman versus Superman. And it would have really built that up to the same caliber. They rushed too many things. And then again, we have too many inconsistencies. Like Suicide Squad has a completely different Joker, which is Jared Leto. But we have the Joaquin Phoenix movie Joker, which is an incredible movie. But it just, there's so much added extra people that keep on changing hats with other actors that it's hard to keep up. Yeah, like MCU did a good job with retaining those actors because they epitomized those characters and it helped create those stories.
Have you guys, either of you guys? I don't think Ezra has, but Tony, I think you said you have. Have you? You haven't been watching Peacemaker, have you?
Peacemaker, no.
Yeah, it's the James Gunn spinoff from the Suicide Squad. It's on HBO Max, so you have to have HBO Max to be able to watch it. Right, it's so many streaming services nowadays. It's basically cable all over, and we got rid of cable and went to streaming, and now it's just turned back into cable again. But yeah, Peacemaker is another. It's very, very dark and gritty, and some of the places that they go to on that show, I'm very interested in. Do you think? And Phoenix had brought up Moon Knight. Se Wong was talking about Smallville, but Phoenix was talking about Moon Knight. And this goes to something I was saying to you. I think we were talking about off camera, but I feel like movies are, kind of evolving in general. It seems like we're coming into this very dark time period for hero movies, right? And maybe it's just because that's an area we haven't really explored yet with the superhero genres, but we're coming in with Moon Knight. The new Batman looks much darker and grittier than
I'm
any
excited
Batman.
for that
Yeah.
one.
I think it's because of the time that the world
Deadpool.
is in. I mean, they just had Tony Stark die in one of the movies, which was the darkest movie that we have had like ever.
Well, and Black Widow
So-
died in that movie too.
And yeah, no, that's
Well,
what I mean.
half the fucking
Like, they-
universe died in the one before it. Like,
but I mean, half the universe also wasn't there to experience it.
Right. You know what? Okay. So I have been very excited about I have because I've been watching rewatching the Eternals on Disney Plus. And I love the whole theory of like Thanos actually becoming like a good guy now, because by doing the snap,
Delayed
he
that.
actually like stopped the
emergence.
the emergence, right? So I was like, oh man, that I love how like there just always seems to be more and more layers, you know?
Right. Which honestly, there's a whole theory on how even though he did do that, it didn't stop it.
Well, it
That
pushed it
because-
back.
Well, it's supposed to be the
it delayed it
intelligence, right?
temporarily.
Isn't it supposed to be the intelligence? I thought I remembered that being what it was supposed to be.
Yeah,
Human
yeah.
intelligence would still be the same thing.
The civilization and yeah,
Oh,
but
was
you
it?
also have to have a certain amount of people that are that
okay.
intelligent.
Yeah, there was
It's been a minute since I've seen it, so
I don't know. It that was a little convoluted, but it was still enjoyable to watch.
according to Phoenix, it delayed it by 5 years.
Delayed it by 5 years.
The blip.
So do you think I was talking about Deadpool, Peacemaker is just very, I mean, like every second sentence there's an F-bomb and somebody just getting their face blown off. And do you think there's room? Are comic books for children, or are they for
No.
adults, or are there places where it could be this is for the adults and this is for the children?
It depends on the comic book per se, because there was comic books I read as a kid, and then there was comic books that I wasn't allowed to read as a kid because either they were too gory, they had something in it, or it was not child appropriate.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in the era where I had Sonic the Hedgehog and Spawn. I mean, those are two pretty drastic,
right,
ends of the spectrum there.
Right.
But I remember having a lot of Sonic the Hedgehog comic books. I had a lot of Archie comic books. That was more kid friendly. And then there were always like darker stories, and that's one of the things I really like about graphic novels in general, is that you have the ability to explore some really darker aspects.
Right.
Especially if it's something that was family friendly, that you want to take into a grittier direction. Batman's a classic example of that. There's so many good graphic novels for Batman. Long Halloween's amazing. Redefines Calendar Man. Like,
even with Batman, when they redid the Killing Joke, it wasn't as graphic as the graphic novel was. If anybody's read the Killing Joke and remembers like how, like, I remember being, well, I wasn't a kid. I probably was in my late teens, but I remember that one like noticeably shocking me. You know what I mean? Like, oh wow, like I can't believe I'm reading this. But they could never do something like that on film. Do you think it makes it difficult? Is it difficult if I'm a 6-year-old child and there's a Batman movie that I can watch and a Batman movie that I can't watch? Is that a problem or an issue, or is there?
I mean, that just comes down to like the rating guidelines in general. Like, if there's something that's a PG-13, then okay, watch it. But if it's a full-on hard rated R, like if you're 6, maybe wait until you're 12 to watch that one. I mean, I think Kill Bill is a great movie. I don't think it's necessarily a children's movie, but it's still something that everybody should watch at some point in their life.
Right.
So I mean, content is rated for a certain reason on purpose. So that way it is accessible for certain audiences, and people should take that into consideration. At the same time, I can't think of any single terrible horror movie that I've ever gone to that somebody didn't bring a goddamn toddler into the room
Yeah,
Like,
I was just gonna
okay,
say,
this is cool. Like, babies
Matt
should not be in
Torres.
adult movies.
Matt Torres here said, I watched Scarface at 8. By the way, thank you for tuning in, Matt. We appreciate you having you here. It's always good to see. I'm always watching him doing videos. Now he's watching our video.
Scarface fucked me up when I was an adult. I can't even imagine watching that at 8.
Right.
With the chainsaw, I was like, what the fuck? This was in the... Oh, my God!
Imagine an 8-year-old saying hello to my little friend.
Right. But now, so that goes to another question. Does it even really matter, right? Like, I mean, with the amount of like violence that children, you could just turn on regular TV at 10 in the morning and watch some kind of a war movie, or you could watch, Maury Povich and people talking about all kinds of, crazy things. Does that even matter? Like, are we doing it overboard, or should there really be a division between what's a kids movie?
Over shelter or sugarcoat things for kids. And I mean, I remember being exposed to a lot of adult content as a child.
I watched Friday the 13th when I was like 8.
No,
and I'm not an axe murderer now.
Halloween 2 fucked me up when he boiled that nurse's head in a fucking medical spa. That messed with me.
Right.
But I also like started watching South Park when it first came out, and I think I was like 11 or 12 or 10.
Right.
So when like the movie came out, I ended up talking to my mom like, "Hey, I want to go see this movie with my friend," and then she goes and buys her tickets. Like, "Ma'am, you can't let them watch that by themselves. You have to watch it with them." She's like,
right.
"What?" Like, yeah, no, they need a chaperone. So she's like, "Okay." She'd never seen it ever. Right. And then the movie actually starts. And I mean, one of the first songs is "Shut your fucking face, Uncle Fucker." Like, that's my mother at that point just like,
right.
What is this movie that you brought? You watched this cartoon? And it's like, okay, the cartoon that I watch is not usually this graphic, but yeah. That was a pretty extreme experience, but even still, I'm not nearly as fucked up as some individuals, so I'll take it as a win.
Hey, Tattoo Troopers got a great question down here. And I would like to know what Tattoo Troopers' first movie in the theater was. Ezra, what was your first movie that you recall seeing in the movie theater?
I think Minions. Minions 2, I believe. Minions 1 or 2. Not Minions. Despicable Me. My bad.
The first Despicable Me?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, wow.
I think that was the first
Ezra,
one.
are you 12? How old are you?
I'm 18. I just turned 18 in July.
That's so funny because I remember taking my kid to Despicable Me. Yeah. Ooh, Return of the Jedi. Matt's got a good one. Dude, okay, so Return of the Jedi, I have to tell you, in Fairfield, we had these 2 theaters that were downtown, right? And this is before you had the multiplexes and stuff, right? And so if you went to the theater on the right, that was a good one because they had a balcony. You could sit up there. And we went to Return of the Jedi. I went with my stepdad. I never, we were going to go sit in the balcony. And we'd never sat in the balcony before. And it's like opening for Return of the Jedi. And he falls asleep and starts snoring hella loud. I was so embarrassed.
I think my first movie I can remember, it was a field trip from one of my schools as a young age, but it was the movie 3 Ninjas.
Oh, wow.
You know that one?
Is that the one with the 3 little kids that become ninjas?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's one of my earliest theater film experiences for sure.
I don't exactly remember if it was first Minions. I just remember going to the theater and seeing the Minion translator app that was on all the banners. You guys remember that? It used to be this.
No, because I was 29.
I was probably like
we have lives and shit, Ezra.
I was probably like 3 embryo. Or 4.
Okay, then I wasn't 29, but I am still double your age. Dear God.
But there was this. I remember it vividly because I was screaming at my grandparents to like download the app so we can understand what the
Minions
Minions were saying.
Dude, I will tell you,
I remember
the one-
seeing both of the Ninja Turtle movies in theaters. That's how old I am.
Okay, now that we're on the topic of movies, we've been on the topic of movies, but the first movies. What was the first movie in your recollection that you saw? Mine was Coraline, and I was probably, I don't know what age. I was young.
God, I was 24 when that came out.
Oh no, you know what? It was it was that one movie. What was that movie where they were playing a board game and then they go to space and it was a robot?
Zathura.
Yeah.
Zathura.
Yeah. What movie?
That was Jumanji.
Yeah, I was 1.5 when I first saw that.
Wow.
You remember that at 1.5?
I remember that vividly. Yes,
God,
I was in my crib. My brother and his.
I was 5.
I was in my crib, and my brothers and his friends were sitting there in front of the TV near my crib, watching Zathura. And I remember getting up, standing on the edge of my crib, and seeing the robot, and it scared the shit out of me.
I bet you were 1.5. Do you remember being born? Are you one of those weird savants?
No, I do not, but I remember the next day.
Dude, okay, so this is...
That hospital bed was terrible!
I don't know if anybody online is going to actually be this old. I remember being a kid, like, I don't know, I must have been probably like somewhere between 5 and 7. But I remember having this vivid memory of my stepsister making me macaroni and cheese. And on TV was the movie. I don't even know if you guys are going to know this movie. It was Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Heart Club Band, but it was like the Bee Gees as Sergeant. It was the best movie, dude. Steve Martin had the greatest song in that movie.
Okay, I guess I was 2. I was 2 when I saw Zathura.
Okay.
Tattoo Troopers said they remember arachnophobia.
Lame. Oh, okay. Sorry, my husband was talking to me. Speaking of movies, I know we have Encanto as one of our things in our title.
I haven't seen it.
Why have you not seen Encanto?
Because I hear it's a really good movie.
It is.
Did you watch the video link that I sent you?
I did not. I'm also in the process of moving, so I don't have to
that's
watch
why.
Movies.
Well, yeah, one of the things that has absolutely, dude, what is his name? Lin-Manuel
Miranda.
Dude, that guy cannot miss right now, dude. Everything that man touches just turns to gold.
Oh my God, Hamilton.
Oh. Right, and I apparently wrote 8 of the songs. Yeah, Hamilton and
Encanto. But you know what? Vivo, not a hit. Not a hit. Vivo,
we don't talk about Bruno, is what Matt says.
Exactly. That was about Bruno. No.
That's the only song I've heard on TikTok for that.
And it's still stuck in my head since watching it on Christmas. It is the best song in that entire movie. I'm not gonna lie.
I have so many theories about that song and that Bruno's hiding in the background.
Yeah, you see him. No, it's a really well put together song because it has a lot of exposition, drives the story along, and it really involves that entire side of the family as the primary focus, which is in itself a commentary on the family dynamic, right? Mirabelle is now hearing about this uncle from her aunt and her family who already have a different opinion from what her parents would have, right? And it's them and their children. So their children learn about who Bruno is through their interpretation of it. It speaks volumes.
Well, what I wanted to talk about, and really quickly before I go into this, I want to
say it.
Yes, go ahead.
Big welcome to John D. Michaels. He is he was the VIP number 1 on Squid Game.
VIP number 1 in the house. Thank you so much. And he is in South Korea right now. So the fact that he is tuning in from South Korea is absolutely fantastic.
It is right around 10 a.m.
I love Squid Game. It was amazing.
So yeah, what I was interested in, when Frozen came out, I remember I was a preschool teacher at the time, and dude, I was so sick of Let It Go, dude. Like that was all my little girls sang all day long, dude. And and when you're a teacher, you just got to be there and loving it. You know what I mean? So but now they say that We Don't Talk About Bruno has completely blown Let It Go off the charts. I don't know how they rate these things or if it's,
by viewers.
Yeah.
how did they rate that compared to a movie back in? You know what I mean? They're two different things.
Because
Different animals, right?
there's Spotify, all sorts of different play areas.
Is it like how many people are downloading it or something?
Well, it's
Kind
also
of.
something that people have been talking about extensively on YouTube right now. That the reactions to the song, there's so many other people who are talking and dissecting the song, and also just how well written it is musically, comparatively with even the rest of the entire film. There's so many layers to it. The way that it uses the rhythm, with how it utilizes each of the characters doing a solo, and then they come together at the end, and it's this whole group thing that all of them are doing the exact same beats that they were before, but now it's together, and it just harmoniously flows perfectly.
Right.
It's one of those things where he shows that he is a very good musical writer. It puts him on that level of almost like Stephen Sondheim, where
Right.
it's like there's like a multiple layers of things just all going on at the same time, but you're kind of having to digest it each time you listen to it, and it's because of that you have to listen to it over and over and over.
It seems like his music forces you to do. I mean, maybe that's his whole intent, is that you're not supposed to get it the first or second time you listen
absolutely
to
it makes you come back for more. But it also was something that was easily digestible in a first viewing, versus there's a few, like the first song, the Family Madrigal, is such a blur that I couldn't hum that tune to you if my life depended on it right now. The Surface Pressure is the other big standout in the movie, but like even Isabella's other song, like I don't remember how that one goes. It doesn't seem like it was as well received. The song at the end, when we really learn about the grandmother and her issue, that one's heartbreaking. Like I cry if I watch that now, but it's also entirely in Spanish. It has a different context, and there's like a whole background scene happening in real time almost for her, whereas everything else is very non-diegetic, like especially Surface Pressure. There's other things going on during the song that visualize what's happening, but it's not like happening in reality, versus like some of the other ones like that happened in reality.
So, you know, one of the things interesting, I don't know what happened to Ezra there, and we still at some point Dawn is still floating out there in the atmosphere. But you know, last week, one of the themes that you and I talked about was the whole idea of the Hollywood stay woke, go broke, right? To add on to that a little bit, and you know, one of the arguments that has been levied, especially at Disney, is that Disney is very much guilty of the stay woke, go broke movement. But then, like, for example, one of the things, I guess there was a misfire on their their merchandising and marketing for in Encanto, in that the sister's name, I think, is Luisa, the strong one.
Yes, that's Luisa.
So apparently, I guess she's kind of like the breakout character for little girls.
Yeah.
And Disney had assumed it was going to be the
Isabella.
other sister, right, that had the flowers and was all about being cutesy and pretty and being perfect. But really, they made a bunch of different toys for Isabella and different things like that, but they didn't make very many for Luisa. And now all the girls are claiming for the Luisa doll.
Well, I can guarantee you this is the reason why. First of all, Disney's stupid. They
Kyber Cave is not affiliated with Disney or Lucasfilm.
So they took the shallow approach to it, like, okay, she's the pretty girl, she's the Miss Perfect, and that's why they're gonna go. No, that's not. They as a character wrote her to be kind of a bitch. Like she was kind of standoffish and snooty and condescending to the main character. She even has a moment in We Don't Talk About Bruno of like, hey sis, I don't want to hear anything from you. Like they really portrayed her as kind of a bitch.
Right.
And as a result of that, that's why kids don't vibe with that character. It's not that, oh, well, you know, there's so many girls that are just upheld to the standard of perfection that they're going to relate to this.
Yeah.
Right.
She's so perfect and pretty, and but she wants to be more and edgy and cut her hair short.
I can see them kind of wanting Isabella to be like the Disney princess of this movie.
Yeah, but she's not. She doesn't exhibit any of those characters. Louisa, the reason why little girls love her so much, she does portray a different body type. I know that the people who made Encanto really fought for that. They had to fight Disney to make her
Phoenix
muscular.
just put that comment up about
they really
had to fight for that.
They had to fight for that. But the reason why she stands out as the character is because Surface Pressure is the song that speaks to a lot of kids that feel that they have to take on that burden of the family to keep the family in a functioning way. That's something that speaks volumes to the message of the generational trauma and why people have responded and vibrated with this movie so well, is that they see like, yes, no, I experienced this. So there's nothing selfishly driven from Louisa. She's someone who's trying to protect and help and is really doing all of the work for the village. Right. I ask you this, what other Madrigal family member was actually doing stuff for the village? Because it's not like we saw Peppa using her power to make the crops grow. We didn't see Camilo doing anything to... Oh, hey! There he is.
He exists.
That was strange. I had to download iTunes apparently for some freaking reason.
Go ahead, Tony. You were saying that nobody else really helped
outside of like making people laugh with their impersonations. No, nobody else really helped. I mean, Dolores, was it Dolores, the one who could hear things from afar away? Like, what purpose did that have to help the village? Even like the little kid, Antonio, he gets the power to talk to animals, and the very next day, Luis out there rounding up the donkeys with her strength. He can literally fucking talk to them and say, "Get in your pen." But do they say, "Let's get Antonio" because he talked to animals? No. So like none of the other family members really contribute outside of Julieta and Luisa. Those are the only two that do it. And then Isabella, well, I can make things pretty. If you want to throw a party, flowers, there you go. Like that's all she does is her contribution.
Right. So do you think that was a big misstep for Disney then? Do you think that like as advanced and as woke as Disney wants to think that they are, that they're really still kind of stuck in this old-fashioned idea of the girls should be the pretty ones with the long hair and the flowers and the princesses, and that, you know, like you said, they had to fight for Luisa to have some muscles. And in fact, one of my good friends is a female bodybuilder, so these are not, you know, it's not like they don't exist.
All of that was warbled for me, but from what I'm going to guess from it, Luisa stands out as a character because of her character being a stronger, empathetic, more a noble one, and Isabella does not stand out because hers didn't fit that model of, you know, being nice. Like if she would have been like nice to Mirabel the entire movie, there'd be one thing, but she wasn't. She was resentful and kind of like condescending and just as mean as her grandmother, because that's the character that she was trying to be herself. Like that, I guess that was the point of it, but that's why she didn't resonate. She did not resonate with the people because of that.
Right. Is Ezra on mute? Oh,
I was on mute. Yeah, I had to turn on my car because my computer died.
Oh. You guys got any thoughts, Dawn or Ezra?
I haven't seen the movie. I can't talk about it.
Well, I'll say that like
Bruno.
to kind of comment on what you said earlier about that. I don't think like I thought you were saying that I'm terrible with the names of the characters. The flowery one. What was her name? Isabella, yeah. So I thought that was, you know, you're right in the fact that, like, you know, that they made her like the pretty princess and stuff like that. But at the end, they kind of showed that wasn't necessary. You know what I mean? That in fact that she didn't want to do that. You know what I mean? And that it was actually better for her to kind of like get crazy and be like, you know, just kind of like messy and just do whatever she wanted. You know what I mean? And that was in fact the right thing to do. Whatever made her feel comfortable was the correct thing to do. You know what I mean? So you know, yeah.
Right. Totally. It seems like the expectations that everybody had on the individual family members, particularly based on their powers, was their actual burdens.
Well, particularly Mirabel's family, because it wasn't Peppa's family. There was no expectations on them.
Right.
They didn't have to do anything.
Right.
Well, if you take away the magical aspect of it, you know what I mean. There's a lot to that. You know what I'm saying? It's just like you're basically having like, you know, people who are really good at one thing and then they get to take advantage of that. You know what I mean? Basically, that's the only thing they're allowed to do. That's the one thing they're good at, and that's the one thing they're allowed to do, and that's it. You know what I mean? And that's kind of like, you know what I mean? It was kind of showing it, you know, at least from my viewpoint, that wasn't the right thing to do. You know what I mean? That people are more than just their best talent. You know what I mean? You know, that you know, people have more than that, you know, available. You know, like when the strong one was like relieved of that, you know what I mean? It was kind of like, it was a relief, you know, just like when Isabella, you know, got all dirty and you know, and that kind of changed everything for her. She was super excited about it because it was like, oh my God, I don't have to be perfect anymore. Right. You know?
Hey, Matt says, I am Bruno, but him saying that just got me to thinking, Bruno, you know who Bruno makes me think of, Don?
Who's that?
Bruno makes me think of Sifo-Dyas. Right, so for the Star Wars nerds in here, Sifo-Dyas could see the Clone Wars happening. Right, he could see all of the horrible things that were going to happen. But when he brought it up to his Jedi masters, he was seen as kind of an outcast because, you know, of reading visions of the future. Right, and I kind of feel like that's how Bruno is treated as well. Do you think that's an allegory? Do we do that to people in life? Is that
absolutely yeah?
All the time.
Do we?
Sure. All the time.
Is that what the scientists are?
That's what anybody. That's literally any. But I mean, yeah. There's obviously that, but there's also like pretty much anybody who kind of goes against what everybody believes as the norm. You know what I mean? And then eventually, sometimes that turns into like, oh wow, you know, maybe they were right. You know what I mean? Maybe they did have something, but you know, somebody said something earlier. If I look at the comments. About the crazy movie, right? The characters have a mental disorder, which I think is an interesting comment because, like, what's her name can make food that can cure illness, right, or whatever. So, like, could they cure mental disorders as well? You know what I mean?
Clearly
like,
not. Right. Peppa's still got huge issues.
That's true.
no, if anything, I think that one of my biggest critiques on this movie would be the fact that they needed to make the initial generation of the family triplets. Like if Bruno, Julieta, and Peppa weren't triplets, it would make more sense because they all fit, like all of the characters fit this archetype of the family system of like the oldest, the middle, and the youngest. Mm-hmm. And all of them display that pretty adequately. And so for like the triplets, it would be clearly that Julieta is the oldest. She's the one that as the first and oldest would have healing powers because it's this thing to fix the hurt and the damage happening. Like she would be old enough to recognize what happened to her mother and be like, I need to help heal that. But her thing is only physical ailments. I don't think it's mental. Because obviously there's huge trauma issues in this family. Bruno is the middle child because he's the black sheep. His whole power is just I'm letting you know what's about to happen and letting people process that. And instead they like demonize him and blame him like it's your fault that it happened. You saw this future and man, it's like, well, if you didn't want a gut, maybe work out next time or invest in Rogaine. Your fish could have just fucking died. It's a goldfish. I'm sorry. But the one time that it might have been like some sort of like manipulation is when he told his sister on her wedding day, "Oh, it looks like rain," knowing full well she's got powers over the weather just to fuck with her because middle children will do that shit. And then the fact that Peppa's kind of like the unstable one, but also like gets away with shit all the time. She's the baby. She's got her own issues. The same thing with Mirabel's sisters. Isabella's clearly the first grandchild, and that's why all of the expectations are on her. That's why she's Miss Perfect. Luisa is the middle child, and she's, again, the one that does, like, the most work out of the entire family. And then you get to Peppa's kids. You got Dolores, who can hear shit, which I don't know what function other than, like, it spreads gossip is, because that's all she can. And then Camilo, like, he's a good comic relief character, but I don't know what his purpose is other than being the banger in We Don't Talk About Bruno by turning into him, because he stole that entire fucking musical scene. But then you have the little Antonio. He's like the little baby again. And what did he do? He warmed grandma's seat with some ferrets, and that's about it.
Right.
So you have clearly the family favorites and the ones that get away with like doing the bare minimum, and then there's the children that like get completely discarded and swept away because they're not of value, and then you have the kids that are like holding everything up with the expectations, and those things all speak volumes into what that narrative was about.
Let's see. Phoenix says, did you notice Julieta, Pepe, and Bruno fall into the past, present, and future?
No clue.
That's fucking awesome. And no, I didn't. And
wait, what does that mean?
That.
Julieta, Pepe, and Bruno fall into the past, present. Okay, explain that to me. Somebody explain that to me.
Phoenix might have to. I don't know which one.
I don't understand what she's talking about.
I guess
I haven't also seen it, so
I guess that Bruno would be future only because he can see the future.
Can see the future, right?
Peppa would be the present because it's the current moment of her thoughts. And then the past is Julieta because she heals it. I don't know. I mean, it's a fun theory, but I don't see the connection.
Because does she have like healing powers?
She does.
Yeah. Julieta does.
Okay,
Julieta
maybe
does.
She's restoring you to your prior self.
Mother.
Yeah.
Kills.
So Phoenix says, so Bruno sees the future. The mother heals past injuries.
Okay, then there we go. So yeah, Julieta's the past, Bruno's the future, and Peppa's the present because she's chaotic.
Also, Brittany mentioned that at the end, Bruno tells Peppa that it wasn't a prophecy; it was just an observation because she was stressing out because of the marriage.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So it wasn't like he was like trying to ruin her day. He was just trying to like, be like, hey, like chill out.
Right. Wonderful. Is there anything else we want to go on this, or
I can't put anything on into it, so.
Huh?
I can't put anything
I know
onto
you
it.
haven't seen it. We were talking about, Don, possibly on weeks where we don't necessarily have a topic that we want to cover specifically or something juicy. Maybe we can do something like where we all watch the same movie and then come back and do almost like a review of it on that Friday night or something like that.
I mean, yeah, that's not a terrible idea.
I love that we have grown adults talking about Encanto.
I know. I just saw it like
for grown adults. That movie was made for grown adults to watch with their kids and realize, oh, I shouldn't fuck you up this bad, huh?
Right, like maybe I shouldn't be a prick.
Maybe I should actually listen to my kid instead of
shouldn't hold expectations on you and just cherish you for what you're good at. That might be a thought.
Right. Well, hopefully
it was definitely
works.
an eye opener for a lot of parents.
Yeah.
Don't trust your grandma.
Yeah, well,
That's basically what they're saying.
Yeah, and it did hit home with a lot of people where they're just like, "Oh my god, like it's not just me. It's not just me and my family. Like this is something that's ingrained. It's like a cultural thing. Of oh my god, wow, yeah, this is accurate."
Right.
I don't have a whole lot of things with siblings because I'm an only child. I don't know who else is an only child.
I wish.
That's a rarity in itself.
I think that's one of the things that I've noticed with this movie more so than most any of the other Disney movies that I see is how much people are able to, and people of all different cultures are able to really find themselves in this movie. Maybe their family doesn't look exactly the same, but a lot of the issues that they're dealing with are very similar to what they see in their own families.
Right.
For sure.
Broken past creates a broken future, says Matt.
That's I mean, it really depends, you know what I mean?
I can't hear anything. It's all
no.
garbled.
Oh no.
Is your audio out?
His video looks a little bit. His video looks a little bit blurry. So I don't know. Maybe it's an internet connection. I'm not sure.
Could be.
Possibly, I have terrible internet.
That makes sense.
Matt's the baby of the child of the family. Phoenix is an only child. It resonates because we all know we're a little messed. That's true. And in some cases, like me, I'm a lot messed.
Yeah, I mean, again, that really depends on your viewpoint on it, though. You know what I mean? It's like, what is messed up? Something being messed up implies that there's a right way to do things, and I'm pretty sure we all know that there's fucking not.
Phoenix,
you know what I mean? Like,
right.
If anything, it's that there are a lot of messed up circumstances which shape our understanding and our being,
right,
and how we interact with the world. You have two choices when. Again, it kind of goes like, when life hands you lemons, make lemonade. I mean, you have to have some sugar to go with that to make that a reality.
Right, exactly, yeah.
But it's a matter of, you could either take the hate that the world gives you and then give it back in kind, in spite, out of some sort of vengeance or need for a comeuppance, or you can take that and then learn, like, hey, that really made me feel shitty. Like, I'm going to make sure I don't do that to somebody else.
Right.
Right, exactly.
Make them feel like that. I wouldn't want somebody to feel like that. I wouldn't want somebody to hurt me like how you hurt me. So I'm going to learn not to be like you, and I'm going to be a better person than that, and go from there.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, like, we can't help what happens to us, you know what I mean, necessarily, but we can help what we take from that, you know what I mean? If you want to be a dick because everybody's being a dick to you, then congratulations, now you're a dick, you're just one of the pile, right? Or you could be better to other people because you don't want them to feel the way that you had to feel. It's all up to you, you know what I mean? Everything else is just an excuse. You know what I mean? Right. You have power over your own actions, plain and simple.
Exactly.
Right. All right. Hey, really quickly, and I can't believe we're at the hour mark, so we're going to be shutting down here soon. We will actually get things done on time.
Yay.
On our title card, it said we said Encanto, we said No Way Home, and the other one was Oh No They Didn't or something. Or
yeah, I don't know what that's about. What is that?
I don't know.
What was that one?
Anthony, you want to explain?
Wait, what? I'm sorry. I couldn't hear.
On the title card, it said, what does it say? Oh no, you didn't, or
oh no, you don't.
Oh no, you don't.
Oh no, you don't. It was going to be a commentary on things that were made back in the day that you could not make today. At all. And again, my big go-to on that is Friends. Friends would never survive in a current day and age take on that show. First of all, you're telling me that just 6 group of people that hang out all the time are just all white, and everyone around them is all white in New York.
And they have a huge apartment.
And they have huge apartments working as a waitress and a chef. Sure, your parents live in Massachusetts somewhere on a fucking mansion and pay your bills, right? Because that's the only way that's happening.
I used to, when I remember, okay, so this is going to date me as well. Ezra's not going to know anything about these, but I grew up on the John Hughes movies, right? So like the Breakfast Club.
Those are some classic movies, though.
Some Kind of Wonderful. Pretty in Pink, Sweet 16 Candles.
Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
And yeah, so the one thing though, I remember when I was growing up was like, I remember seeing those movies. I was like, oh my God, look at the size of those kids' bedroom. Like every kid in all these movies have like a bedroom that's the size of my house. I just always assumed that people on the East Coast had freaking humongous houses.
Well, it was also the 80s, and like the cost of living was 17 times less. I mean,
they don't.
What do you mean, Don? Your house wasn't that big?
No. Definitely cheaper than here, but no, they're not that big. No.
Right.
You guys want to see something that you cannot make today? Is that the right image?
Are we gonna get kicked off of YouTube?
Probably not. Hang on. Let me see if I can.
Probably not. That's not.
How I Met Your Mother right now called How I Met Your Father. Oh, okay. Yeah, I heard that actually.
Terrible.
I can't pull up the image. Give me 2 seconds. So basically, back in like the 50s, they made
Porky's. Oh my God, you could not make those movies today.
Hell yeah.
Something you couldn't make
so
today
much of the
just because of the culture that we have now.
Yeah.
they made real looking weapons for kids. Like they made a full metal bazooka that shot rockets, not like actual rockets, but like bottle rockets.
Dude, they had when I was growing up. I don't know. They probably still have them. I don't know if they still exist, but they had the candy cigarettes. Like it was gum that they would have. Like they would put hellish.
Oh, they still have those.
They still have
Do
them.
they still have those things?
Yeah, they have them at the mall.
What a horrible marketing idea for children.
I know. I remember I used to love those things, and I used to like pretend like they were cigarettes, and like pretend like I was smoking cigarettes. And my mom would get pissed off at me for doing it. And I'm like, I don't understand.
Animal
This is
House.
what they're for. Like they even have like little painted red ends on them. What do you want from me?
Right, and you blow the sugar out like it's smoke.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, no, I saw Revenge of the Nerds. Definitely, Animal House. I've seen on there a couple of times. I had mentioned last week when we were talking about the Go Woke, Stay Woke. One of my absolute favorites was the movie Airplane, and even the Naked Gun movies. Just the type of silly you couldn't make those movies nowadays. But actually, you know what? That's a good point. So, Don, you were John. You're familiar with the John Hughes movies, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Anthony, you're familiar with John Hughes, right?
Yeah, John Hughes has like a whole course that you could take in college about how his movies are crafted.
All right. And Ezra, do you know the John Hughes movies? Like
Possibly,
Pretty in
you'd have
Pink?
to remind me of one.
We're gonna have to sit you down.
He's
and do
12,
but
so
Pretty
no.
in Pink. I mean, this was before your time. So, but like one of the things that and I love those movies. I mean, I feel like the John Hughes movies kind of define my age growing up.
Breakfast Club is one that everyone should watch because it speaks to every generation. Again, about people from different backgrounds and different cliques in the realm of high school coming together and realizing we're not all so terrible. It's not as diverse as we would have it today. If that movie were made today, it would be a multi-diverse cast for sure. But I don't know if it would be as poignant. There's something timeless about that movie for when it was made and how it was made and how it displays kids from different households and how they react with each other. So,
David, what's up, David? David says Kentucky Fried Movie, which is another classic. That is definitely a movie you could not.
I'm gonna get ready to cut out on this one, but thank you for having me. It was
all right,
lovely to see you all.
We are getting ready to cut out of here in just a moment as well. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I don't know if you could not make that one. What I was going to point at, though,
that would be a good one.
Anthony, before you go, what I wanted to ask you though was there are certain things in those movies. We'll ask Anthony, and then we'll go back around so Anthony can get off. But there's certain things in those movies now that like rewatching them are not okay. So so there's implied rape scenes in 16 Candles. The scene in Breakfast Club where John goes under the table and like puts his head between Claire's legs or whatever. There's a lot of Victor. What's going on? There's a lot of those scenes nowadays where Farmer Ted gets the underwear from the girl or whatever. Even in Revenge of the Nerds, there's a rape scene in that movie too.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So should those movies be banned nowadays? Because
I don't think they should be banned because they're a product of their time, and I think that those are instances and moments that end them, but they're not the direct result of the plot. They're not the thing that is spurning it on. I mean, you look at a movie like Grease, for God's sake. I mean, there's a whole like, tell me more. Did she put up a fight? It was the mentality of like guys had to chase girls and guys had to do these things in order to get the girl. And it was something that at the time, like, even girls were like, ooh, yeah, pinch my ass. That was cute. Like, but today, like, someone would be really offended by that because obviously, hey, don't physically assault me in that sense. Right. So that's something that comes with culture and that comes with eras. I mean, again, that's like comparing things in the Victorian age of like how wives were kept and had no rights and everything. It doesn't mean we don't tell those stories. It doesn't mean we don't see like Pride and Prejudice. It just means that we learn from it and go, yeah, that was kind of fucked up. Don't do that behavior, children. Right. Let's leave that one out. It doesn't make you the hero. It's like, yeah, no, like, don't do that. Don't do that. That's gross. That's gonna get you slapped in the face.
What do you think, Don?
Right.
Do you think those movies are still acceptable, or do they belong put away where people shouldn't see them? Or
That's hard. I think like I think that in some instances, like I don't think you should leave it out just to be nice. You know what I mean? Or like less insulting. You know what I mean? If it happened in that era, then you put it in that. Like if you're doing a movie about a certain era and that stuff happened in that era, then you put it in the movie because it's accurate to the era, right? Like you're not doing it just to offend people or just to be like, hey man, you should do this. You know what I mean?
It wasn't promoting rape culture. I don't think.
Right, exactly. It's not about promoting that at all. But I mean, like that's how that era was. So you want to keep it true to that. You know what I mean? It's kind of weird if you don't do that. You know what I mean? Like if you don't like acknowledge that those things were things. You know what I mean?
right.
Yeah,
right.
if anything's more perverted, like somebody brought up Porky's, Porky's 2 and Porky's. Those were some pretty racy movies that were all about like high school kids going to a strip club and trying to get laid all the time. Like it's almost like akin to like American Pie. Like there's a lot in that movie that today wouldn't be allowed to fly because it's really gross and kind of perverted.
Well, and then there was even
guys were also always kind of gross and perverted. That kind of was the point.
Even in that movie, it brought up the question of what was it, internet? Because like, didn't they turn on her computer to like spy on her or something like that while she was getting dressed?
Yeah, and even it wasn't Santa Baby. It was Baby It's Cold Outside. It insinuates it spikes her drink.
Right.
I think that's more of like a hey, what kind of liquor's in this? Personally, because there was something always coy about those two, and that's my one critique on that song. People can be upset about Baby It's Cold Outside, but it never seemed like she was like, I really don't want to be here. It was always like a kind of flirting with it as well. But there is something to be said about, we want to get away from that culture that it can be a little bit healthier than that people are put into weird situations that they shouldn't be. And people shouldn't capitalize on that. People shouldn't spy on people in their room who are naked. We shouldn't be such horn dogs. We shouldn't be such lecherous bastards. Guys can be better than that. I think if anything, that's something that we can say is matured in the last few years. It's like understanding of like, hey, there's boundaries and maybe don't be a creep. Just be nice.
Some people understand that.
Not everybody. Anywho, I do have to go. I gotta go, so I'm gonna peace out. Hang in tight. We'll see you guys next time. I'll figure out something fun and clever to dress up as. And
thank you for being on, Anthony. It's always a pleasure to have you on, whether you are as Anthony or Rubik's.
Yeah, next time will probably be Rubik's, but we'll see.
Whatever you feel like. All right, we will see you next week, my friend.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Yeah, and I think we're gonna get closed up here in a minute or two. Did you guys have I know poor Don didn't come on until like near the end, but did you have any closing thoughts? We got to figure out a way to like naturally end these segments. You know what I mean? Like I said on the other show, I feel like, okay, there's things that we got to get through. Once we do this, then we know the show is over. I think with this show, I don't know, maybe we should somehow end with like, I don't know, a thought of the show or a takeaway from
a question
from the show.
For the audience for next week, we go back and look at the comments, see what their opinions were.
Yeah. We can definitely do that. When I say you can definitely keep track of those comments.
Well, also I
remember.
I could just go back and we can screen share and look at the comments while on screen.
Yeah, and remember, this show is about you guys. I personally have loved seeing all of these comments. I want to thank Matt. I definitely want to thank John Michaels from Squid Game for jumping on earlier. But we've had a ton of people commenting in. Distance Nerding has been here. And really, that's what this show is supposed to be about, right? We're just supposed to spark up different discussions. Most of the time, what we're talking about really doesn't have an answer anyways.
Right, there's no real answer to it, so.
Right. And if there is an answer, sometimes it's so far away that, the bigger answer, the answer is bigger than anyone sitting in any of these rooms. But it is fun to talk about. I'm trying to think of like a catchphrase or something. I feel like this show is where controversy meets pop culture. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I don't know. We'll think of a really good way to explain what this show is. But I have been getting comments about people that have really been seeming to enjoy this show. And even Matt or somebody was saying it's nice to hear adults talking about Encanto.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
think that was Matt.
So did you if there's any questions people have, yeah, sometimes it is just good to BS with friends. That's what this show is all about. So please, if you have not subscribed to us on YouTube or Twitch, please do that. Look for Kyber Cave under YouTube and Kyber Cave Productions under Twitch. And we also have a Kyber Cave production page for Facebook. Don't forget, tomorrow night is our build show. That is cosplay builds at the Kyber Cave featuring Darkside Sabers. What are we doing tomorrow night?
That's a great
Any
question. It's going to be more weathering stuff. Yeah, we're going to do some more weathering stuff. We will finish up your helmet as well on the underneath of that. Yeah. And give me 1 second, actually.
Uh-oh. I'm scared. What did he? What? It's something he printed. I'm guessing.
It's not.
I would guess.
It's not.
No.
We also, for those, this Sunday is Ohanocon in Vacaville. So if you guys are in Vacaville area and you are free, the anticipation is building. Please come on out. Matt Torres is struck with your anticipation.
So there are 3 things that I have, 2 things kicking around, and 1 thing I just found recently, actually. But I like to actually mess with some of these. So this is a Gundam.
Oh, is that a model build?
Yeah, this is a model build. It's a pretty big one.
That's what Greg Veery wants to do. Greg is all about that stuff.
Okay, so I had that one. When I was in Arizona, in Lake Havasu, I got this one. Boba Fett. But, this is the one I just found recently, and I am freaking stoked about.
Oh, is that Din Djarin himself, or is it like the?
It is. It's Din Djarin. So it has. You can see here a little bit.
Wait.
Yep, you're good. You're good.
Oh wow.
There we go.
Let me try to.
Wow. Can you like pose him and stuff?
Yeah, it's posable. Multiple articulation. He has. God, I wish that was a little bit better, focusing wise.
Yeah.
I can see it.
So are you saying you want to do a build show?
Yes, specifically for this one here, because this one is pretty awesome. It has, like, the armor is supposedly, like, pretty chrome, pretty nice. But I actually want to airbrush these and make them, like, super, super chrome. But also, some of these parts they're just brown, you know what I mean? Right. And I'd like to weather them as well.
Oh, so this would go along with the weathering kind of idea with the show.
Right, because I want to take these model kits and really just kind of dirty them up and make them really cool. So,
yeah, well, one of the things that we had talked about was because we did my lightsaber last week, and we also did the helmet for Say Wong for his Din Djarin helmet. But we had talked about the idea that you can weather toys, and you can take a Nerf gun that you have and repaint it and make it look, like a more realistic blaster. You talked about doing Grogu as well.
Right, I want to do Grogu. I want to weather him a little bit, make him a little bit. There's not much I can do with this doll because the mold is kind of, or the mold is kind of like just cheesy. It's not that great.
Right.
Yeah, you could do weapons. You could do helmets. This is a blaster I did actually a while ago. But you can see it has like dirt and like grime and stuff in there, like a little bit of rust put in there.
Right.
Just a little bit, but enough to make it look like real. You know what I mean? Like or real enough.
Right,
exactly. And it's this was quite a while ago. This one's actually really cool. I put a blue LED light in there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that just died. So that's all you get. But this is one of the ones that we did, and I'd like to do actually a couple builds of these. I have 2 more of these ones specifically that are unpainted. Well, they were just laser tag guns that I am going to be painting up. But I'd like to actually bring these. I might actually bring these on tomorrow. So we'll see what happens.
Matt says that looks badass.
It was a lot of fun to do and make. Like, this was like one of those orange and white guns. This is perfect. It has weight to it. It feels good. And like when you press the button, when the button works, when you press the button, you can actually the whole gun actually like there's a thing inside going back and forth, literally putting like haptic feedback inside this thing.
It's like a mini recoil.
Yeah, it has like little recoils. It kind of like goes like this while you're shooting it. It's pretty badass. So
that's dope.
Oh, that's even cooler.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
If we get bored, we could do a wiring show. I would love to get one of my my sabers done on We got the Vacaville thing on Sunday. The Vacaville comp, but God, that weather saber, I've been getting so many compliments on that weather saber. I told Ezra too, when we start producing our sabers, I'm going to offer that. Now that I know how to do it, I'm going to offer it as an option. And I told Ezra I'm going to be doing all the weathering, dude. That was so much fun.
Oh yeah, it's a ton of fun.
Yeah. I need you to teach me how to weather. I want to weather.
Yeah, for sure.
Dude, what I realize is that you really can't do it wrong. You know what I mean? Like, mine was heavily weathered, I feel like. You know what I mean? Probably more so than most people would like.
Right.
But I had a very distinct vision and look with it. I wanted a lot of that red to look like blood sprayed, but like layers of blood on it from old, layer upon layers of blood. So, I had a very specific vision for what I wanted my weathering, but it was a lot of fun, and I didn't realize. I think I was so nervous that it would be difficult or that I wouldn't have the eye for it, but yeah, and it was a good time.
Yeah, I enjoyed that one. That was a lot of fun. Like I said, I really liked doing Say Wong's helmet as well. So.
Yeah, that turned out absolutely fantastic.
What were you using to weather his helmet? I couldn't hear it.
Just acrylic paints.
Oh.
Just a number of different acrylic paints. It's just about layering up those colors, watering them down so they're not super crazy, and just kind of going just more and more and more. Yeah.
Also, so
that'll
Phoenix,
be tomorrow
if you don't
night.
finish that sentence, I swear I'm going to spam your phone.
What'd you say?
What?
Phoenix put like 5 minutes ago because someone said anticipation. She said no, it's antissa, and hasn't responded since.
Oh,
I think you're supposed to fill in the blank with patient.
No, she is. She knew it was gonna get to me.
All right, so tomorrow night we've got the build show that is at 7 p.m. and then on Sunday, Kyber Cave presents Saber Rattle at 7 p.m. And I'm hoping we're gonna have I'm hoping to peer pressure Gary Ripper into being on the show this week. But we always have somebody absolutely fantastic every week. We got a lot of hits. Tony Negron was really popular last week. We had like 32 views on our YouTube on that. So woohoo for Tony. All right. I guess that's going to be kind of about it for tonight. Is there anything else you wanted to leave off with, Ezra?
No, not that I can think of.
Dawn?
Not really. Yeah.
We'll find a better way to wrap the show.
For sure. Yeah.
Definitely gonna need to.
Thank you for everybody that tuned in tonight, and thank you for Anthony Allen for being on with us tonight as well. And if you have not checked him out, go check out Distance Nerding. Matt Torres is an amazing flow artist. Make sure to check out his videos online. And of course, John Michael, if you haven't seen the movie Squid Game, what's wrong with you? All right, y'all. We will see you tomorrow night. Peace.
Peace out.